What's up, everybody? My name is Chris, and today in this video I want to talk to you about my experience with the Apple Watch. This is my first time ever having an Apple Watch, owning one, using one, and now I've been wearing it for about 2.5 to 3 weeks, and I want to give you my first impressions as a first-time Apple Watch owner, despite having been in the Apple ecosystem for quite a while. Now, to start out, I want to give you a bit of an unboxing of this, and obviously I'm not going to try to make it seem like I have never opened this, because I have, but I wanted to share the unboxing experience of the Apple Watch Titanium Series Edition, or whatever they're calling that. It's the Apple Watch Series 7, the newest model, and as I've mentioned, I just got it a couple of weeks ago. Now, of course, I already have the charger out. One thing that I want to mention about the charger is that I find this end right here really huge in terms of normal USB-C charging cables. Like, for example, if you take this one, it's a comparison that I don't really think would have been necessary, but maybe this is a technical issue that they had to pack some of the logic of the USB-C charging, especially maybe the fast charging, into this. So that's one thing that I kind of noticed and saw. Now, the next step, of course, you have the box itself. Here you have a embossed, or whatever they call it. It's stamped into the paper so you can feel the Apple logo as well as the Apple Watch kind of typeface, so you can feel that. And then when you turn it around, you have these paper openings. So essentially, they're getting rid of most of the plastic in the process. And also, they make it possible so that the people in the Apple stores can mix and match Apple Watches and the bands so that they can close this off for you there as well. At least that is what I've read about that. Then when you open this up, you have the Apple Watch itself. And I don't remember which order this was in. Again, I have already opened this, but generally speaking, you get the Apple Watch. You have some paper strips, or basically some strips here that are so that it is sealed when you open it up for the first time. And then I had a chance to choose a band in the Apple Store online. So I chose this Sport Loop with the Velcro right there. And with that, I can already put this one off to the side. Now, I was really surprised by something that has everything to do with the band. However, we're getting to that in just a moment. Now, to keep the suspense up a little bit, I, of course, started unpacking the band. And here you, of course, also have a bit of a seal right there that you can open up. And then when you pull this out, you get this nice little package right there. And then this box here is already empty as well. And then we can open this up. We have some legal paper, the explanation essentially as to how you can use this band. And then when you open this up, you have the band kind of like looped underneath here. And then you can take it out like so. Now, this is a really simple band. It is working. It is, of course, very nice to wear. And I also found it very soft. So I've been using this specifically also for sleeping, of course, also for sport. Now, something that I was considering was, what if I want to do something that, for example, is swimming or the likes, because this, of course, will get wet and it will probably also stay wet for a significant amount of time. However, that issue might be solved in just a moment. Generally, I find this band really comfortable. It was a pleasure to work with. It was a pleasure to wear. And I actually was surprised as to how easy it also is with this particular band when I am working on a computer and a keyboard and I have my wrist always on the desk. This is very thin, and that helps a lot with the comfort on that front, because I have never been a watch wearer and that was one of my biggest concerns. Now, I still take off my watch every now and then if I have a huge chunk of time that I am on a desk, but that is kind of to be expected, and I would consider that to be a normal kind of thing. Now, with this out of the way, we can, of course, move forward, and I can put this into the box. We put this off over here, and then I can go over to the watch. Again, there are seals right here, left and right, and then you can turn it over, and as is with Apple products, you kind of have to wait for it to come out, and then we have one side, and there we go. So now this here is the Apple Watch Series 7, and this is the Titanium edition. Now, of course, I would always go for the more boring stuff first. We have some paper here. There was the charger, which was surprisingly tricky to get out of there because it is like wedged into all of these kind of nooks and crannies. So that's kind of interesting to pull out there. But of course, that is how they do it. And then we have this designed by Apple package again. And I was expecting a whole bunch of paperwork. What I did not expect was that with the Apple Watch Edition, and I'm not sure if this is with the aluminum as well. I've never heard of that before, but maybe I just haven't watched enough videos about the Apple Watch. But of course, you have a bunch of Apple Watch paperwork and explanations, and we can put that off to the side. But then what was revealed was an actual other watch band. And from what I've heard after taking a photo of this and sharing it on Reddit, people actually said that this is an exclusive color watch band to the titanium edition. So I'm not sure what you get in other titanium editions, but I was pleasantly surprised to find this watch band additionally to the one that I also got to choose when I was doing the checkout. And the interesting thing is that I've never seen that, and also I had no clue that this would be arriving. So I thought that I only have this one. And of course, now I do not have just that one. I also have this one. Now, for my own wrist, I need the bigger one. So we'll be putting that on in just a moment. But generally speaking, this is kind of like a titanium color. It's a gray color tone, and it is apparently the normal loop that Apple now ships with these types of watches. So again, putting this to the side, and now we can get to the good part, and that is of course the Apple Watch itself. Now here they have this paper wrapper around, and I find that is really nice. And now I can push this out there, and then I can just start pulling it out like so. Now, I really like that they are doing a lot of things with the paper instead of doing anything with plastic. So that is really, really appreciated. Now, of course, I already have this set up. It's not the first time that I'm unboxing this. This is already set up. You will find other videos with people that are showing you how to set up your Apple Watch. But for me, I'm just gonna put on the watch band, and that goes in at the top right there, and it lodges in quite firmly. And then the long one for my wrist goes into the bottom. And with that, you also see something that I have set up, and that is that I use this with the dial or the crown pointing toward me instead of pointing away. So I have this set up in the basically the upside down position. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is that I, for one, saw a video online of someone who is doing that. And for the second one is that I was able to kind of logically get my head around why they were doing that. And that is that if I push onto the ground like this, and I oftentimes sit backwards with my arms stretched out, and then in those moments, the crown would be pushed in and activate, for example, Siri. So that's why I chose this orientation, and up to this point, I have gotten used to it this way instead of using the normal way on the other side. I also find that the usability of the crown seems to be more easy for me when I do it with the thumb, because I also have tested this every now and then for a day or half a day to put it the other way around, just to kind of get to know how it is supposed to be used, basically based on how Apple is marketing the Apple Watch. But I always found that I turned back to this mode. Now, something to note about the titanium watches is that they are automatically with GPS as well as the GSM, I think, the phone connectivity, the internet connectivity. However, I have not been able to activate that because of my provider, so that's something that I have not been able to use up to this point. However, everything else worked perfectly, and I'm really happy to this point that I got this. Now, as a little side note, this is probably one of the first bigger investments or bigger purchases that I've done which are purely for myself in a way. Usually I invest my money into a new computer, a new monitor, or maybe a new camera or lens. However, those are all considered business investments. Those are all mostly because I can create more or better content or create more or better products in terms of what I do in my everyday work. So this here is an investment that's not necessarily in that same category, because I don't really need a watch for my everyday work. However, I kind of make the argument that this, for one, is something that I always wanted for the last few years, and then I kind of discussed my way out of it, and now I was at a point where I'm like, I can research this and I can think about this a couple more hours, but at the end of the day, if I just get it, those hours will be better served doing other types of work. And then I can figure out whether or not I actually want this, if I use it every day, if I use it enough to warrant the cost or not. Those kind of thoughts are basically what now put me here, where now I have this Apple Watch. I wanted to check it out. I wanted to know if it makes sense for my everyday use, for the sports, for the health tracking, for the notifications, for all of those types of things. And with that, now I can give you a bit of an overview as to what I was able to do with this watch. And in the coming weeks, I might go into more detail about other topics around the Apple Watch and the different applications that I use on it. First up, I have to say that I have been wearing the watch every single day since I have gotten it. And that was actually one of my biggest concerns, because in the past I've got a mechanical watch, or I think it's battery powered, but however, it's a normal looking watch with just a watch face, and you have the time, date, and those kind of things. And basically I was really excited about getting that at the time as an accessory, as something that men wear on their wrist for whatever reason. Now, I usually am a person that has their phone with them at all possible times, because it is my time, it's my timer, it's my calendar, it's my note-taking, it's my connectivity, it's my messaging, it's all of the things. And then there's another big thing, which is the activity, or more specifically the step counting. And of course, that means the phone is always in my pocket. Now, I want to be able to slowly move away from having my phone in my pocket at all possible times. However, I also am still in this challenge of 10,000 steps every single day, and I want to track those. I want to be able to count those steps so that I can basically finish this challenge strong without having to carry my phone with me at all times. And so that's one of the reasons for this watch, because it can do those things without having to have the phone present. So now I was able to go out for a walk and actually track my steps, actually also use Bluetooth and podcasting and listen to something without having my phone present. And I think that is one of the biggest points here. Now, once I get the phone connectivity here activated, that means that I actually can go out the door with just my AirPods and the watch, and I'm ready to go for a longer walk and also just to tackle the day overall. Now, I'm aware that maybe at those points, the watch will not provide enough battery power to last a whole day if you're using the connectivity as well as Bluetooth and all of those things at the same time. The watch might just not have enough power to do that. But as of now, for those short whiles, it has been a life-changing experience to be able to go out the door without my phone in my pocket. Another thing is that I actually find it really nice to have certain types of notifications on my wrist. However, I am also quite aware that I will probably not have this forever, because most of the time I don't want to be disturbed whenever possible by some kind of random notification. So those might be something that I will slowly fade out as I use this more and more or for a longer duration. Then, of course, we have fitness tracking as well as the GPS tracking for hikes and walks and those kind of things. And that has been a real joy with the Apple Watch, especially with a specific app which is called WorkOutDoors. And I will link that in the description below if you want to check it out for yourself. It doesn't look the nicest. However, it is extremely functional for those types of things, to track workouts as well as just in general the walking that you might be doing if you are interested in tracking those things. It does the heart rate, step count, it shows you calories, stride length, those kind of things. And it of course also has a GPS track if you are doing this outdoors. And I find that really nice. It's also possible to link that up to Strava, which is the fitness or running tracking app that I use. And so that means that I can use this specific watch app, the WorkOutDoors app, and use all of the nice display features and also the tracking, and then also sync that up with the network for example, sharing the experience with people in my network. Now, the other thing is also that you have Siri right on the wrist for timers, for reminders, for all those kind of things. And I have that activated for the wrist race so that I can talk to Siri whenever I need. The other thing is also that you now have multiple timers on your wrist. So that means that you can actually set a timer for like 3 hours for the washing machine to finish, and also set a timer for, let's say, 3.5 minutes for your coffee or tea to brew properly. So that's really a fantastic feature, and I have been waiting for this to be able to do that in the timer app or the clock app on the iPhone, and I have no clue why Apple is not making this a possibility to run multiple timers on the iPhone at the same time. I need that every day or almost every day. Now, there are, of course, way more features that you can use here. For example, you can also connect it with the chats that you have, for example, in Telegram. So that's a possibility. You can reply right from the wrist. You have the full typing keyboard on this Apple Watch, which is really nice to have. You can, of course, also dictate, and that works like a wonder. And, of course, also make voice notes. And with apps like Telegram, for example, you can also reply with pure voice messages. So that's really, really nice. Now, I've noticed that with the new Apple Watch and the full typing keyboard, some apps don't necessarily support that fully yet, and I'm not aware why that might be. But in some apps, you have to still scribble or do the dictation purely. But I think that this will be something that will come over more and more as app developers are updating their apps, and also as Apple might be smoothing out some of those little bugs right here and there. Now, I will cover more apps, use cases, and also workflows in upcoming videos throughout the next few months as I get to know this, and also as you might be able to share in the comment section down below how you use your Apple Watch, or if you have specific questions, then that can also be put in the comment section below so that I might be able to cover those things in future upcoming videos. Now, for me personally, the watch has been a life changer. Being able to go out for a walk and not have to worry about my phone in my pocket is incredible. And I think that that will only be improved once I will be able to also activate the phone features or the connectivity features on the Apple Watch with the eSIM. Generally speaking, for battery life, I've been easily going through a day with just charging it in the morning or the evening in those routines times where you are taking a shower or something similar. The fast charging works flawlessly and is really, really easy to go with. I also, however, noticed that my partner Nicole, she's using a different watch and she's getting much longer times in between charging. So that's something that, of course, is with the Apple Watch specifically not necessarily something you will experience, except for when you are disabling the always-on display on the Series 7 and all those that have that capability. Then you might be able to get a longer time out of your watch. And that's something that I definitely noticed when I tried that out. But generally speaking, it's very easy with the new fast charging to just charge quickly in the morning or the evening and you're ready to go for a full day or a full night. Now again, if you have any specific questions about the Apple Watch or any of the workflows surrounding it, then of course you can leave those in the comment section down below. And with all that said, I hope you have an amazing day, improve your life's quality, maybe with an Apple Watch, and I will see you in one of my next videos. Ciao, ciao.